Good evening. Welcome everyone to the October 17th meeting of the Needham Commission on Disabilities. We have a guest speaker today, but before we get to Julie, I would just want to announce to everyone that Lynn is now officially a member of Commission on Disabilities. She was approved by
Thank
the
you.
select board, so we're very happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I took my oath and I did my ethics training, so I'm good to go.
Great.
Very good.
Very
Um,
excited.
And we are happy to welcome Julie McCarthy tonight, who's going to talk about the Community Health Assessment and Community Health Improvement Plan. We'll begin by introducing ourselves to you, Julie. I'm Jeannie Martin. I'm one of the co-chairs with Carol Thomas, who's not able to be with us tonight. Next, we have our town liaison.
Hi, my name is Athena Swanson. I'm the Director of Human Resources.
Hi, I'm Babs Moss. I'm a member.
Hi, I'm Alexa Moore. I'm a member as well.
Hi, I'm Karen Morales. I'm also a member.
You just met me, Lynn Rodman, new member.
And we have a guest with us, Kalpana. Hello and welcome. Do you want to say anything? Okay. I'll let you get started, Julie.
All right. Well, thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time on your agenda tonight. So I'm Julie McCarthy, and I am the epidemiologist with the Public Health Division. So I just wanted to briefly talk about a couple of sort of connected projects that we're working on in the Public Health Division. That's sort of a part of our larger goal of pursuing public health accreditations, basically a very lengthy process that requires us to complete all of these sort of requirements and compile all of our documentation together and submit it to be accredited. And there are only a few departments in the state that are accredited right now. So first off, we're finishing up our community health assessment. So that's basically going to be this giant document that captures as much local data as we can come up with from the Census Bureau, from the Mass Department of Health, from the community survey, from other town surveys that the Public Health Division have administered or that we've been, a part of administering. So we organize this data into specific sort of areas like mental health and substance use or access to care, things like that. And with this document and with all this data compiled together, we're hoping to get a better understanding of, the health strengths in Needham and the health challenges in Needham. And from that document, we're hoping to figure out some sort of priority areas for us to focus on in the coming, in the short term, but also in the long term, like 5-year plan. So we're hoping to take those priority areas and focus on a couple of those in the next step of this process, which is our community health improvement plan. So that's going to be a document that identifies those sort of key areas that we'll work on for the next 5 years. And, we'll work on those both on our own, but also in collaboration with other town departments and other community organizations and things like that. And so within each of those larger priority areas, we're going to have objectives and goals, and then we're hoping to really whittle it down into these specific strategies that we'll use to accomplish those goals and objectives. So for an example, one priority area may be substance use, and one of the objectives within that may be reduce youth substance use. And one of the specific strategies under that might be, early intervention in middle school to reduce youth substance use or to educate about the harms of substance use. So that's just an example. So I'm here tonight because we're hoping to recruit someone from this commission to be a part of this community health improvement plan process. So I've pulled together sort of a small committee to help us brainstorm this and give us some feedback on our thoughts on these priority areas and objectives. And we're hoping to have probably 2 one-hour meetings and maybe some email exchanges in between, where we'll review that community health assessment, which will soon to be available to everyone, but we'll sort of get a pre-review of some of that data, and then get your feedback on some of these priority areas, objectives, and strategies that we've chosen. So with that little pitch, if you are interested in participating, please reach out to me as soon as you can. We do have sort of a first meeting scheduled October 30th at 1 p.m. on Zoom. But certainly if you can't make that, we can chat offline and catch up, or you can attend the second meeting, which we haven't scheduled yet. So that's all I had to say. Please reach out to me if you have interest in participating, and thank you for having me here tonight.
You.
Does anyone have any questions for Julie?
No.
Sorry, my internet cut out for a minute. I know you said you are requesting someone to join. What are the requirements? I'm sorry if you covered that. I just missed it.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, so we're having 2, I think we'll hope to have just 2 one-hour meetings on Zoom to talk about that community health assessment data, and then get feedback on those priority areas and objectives and strategies. So we have one meeting that's we just scheduled for October 30th at 1 p.m. And then the second meeting hasn't been scheduled yet. So if someone from this commission can make that meeting, or thinks they can, spare some time for a future meeting, just feel free to call the public health division, or email me, or reach out, however, and we can be in touch about it.
Okay,
I could probably do that if nobody else can, as long as it's like 2 meetings. That seems fine.
We definitely, we know everyone is so busy, and it's a lot to ask anytime we ask for people to participate in these meetings. So even if you can only make one of them, or think you can provide feedback offline, that is also totally fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
great, Karen, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you for joining us tonight. And we'll look forward to hearing some results in the future.
Good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to approving of the minutes from our September 19th meeting. I did note one thing, Alexa, in the paragraph about the AAB violations.
Mhm.
Came under co-chairperson's report. AAB violations at UDOIT and YMCA. You used the word, both were fined due to a lack of signage. They weren't really fined, they were cited.
Okay.
If they didn't fix it, they would have been fined. But they were
Okay, thank you.
cited for being in violation. And well, I'll report on that next, but yeah, the word that I think more accurately describes it is that they were cited. Because they
Correct.
did not
Thank you.
incur a fine. Any other comments about the minutes? Do we have a motion to approve them with the changes just mentioned?
So moved.
I make it. Go ahead, Maureen.
So moved. I make a motion.
And seconded?
I second, yeah.
All in favor? Do we have to roll call, Tatiana? You're muted.
Yes, you do have to roll call because you're on Zoom.
Okay. Jeannie approves. Babs,
I approve.
Karen,
Approve.
Lynn,
Approve.
Maureen,
Approve.
Alexa,
Approve.
Tatiana.
I vote yes.
Okay. Excellent. Moving on. Co-chairperson's report. It is with sadness I report that Babs has decided to resign to end her term on the Commission on Disabilities. As you all know, she's been a tremendous asset, and we just love her anyway for her spirit and the way she looks at life. But we understand that you have other obligations and you need to leave. Babs has asked to go quietly. Wants,
Now go quietly in the night.
she wants no party, no falderal at all. She doesn't want a plaque. But we do want a chance to say farewell to you. So I'm asking Babs, and I spoke about this with her earlier, to just show up at the beginning of our November meeting. So we have a chance to say some words to you when we've all had a chance to think about it and tell you how much we love you and how much we're going to miss you.
Okay.
We're gonna
Thank you.
miss you terribly, Babs, terribly.
Yeah, I love you too. Yeah.
You are one of a kind.
Ah,
But
for
we'll
sure.
have a chance to tell you more next month, if that's okay
Okay.
with everyone.
Yeah.
But there will be no formal party. Because Babs, in true Babs style, said she doesn't want a plaque because she wants the money to go to better use for programs or activities or equipment or something like that in the town. So we will do that. We'll make sure we have something. And remember that that was money that you designated for a cause other than for yourself.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That's sweet.
Oh, I wanted to report on the Panera parking lot, which I had contacted the owner after the last meeting. And I said, we saw the signs and we don't love them, but they are acceptable. But the lot needs restriping. And he said, oh, well, we're planning to do that in October.
Good.
So I drove by this morning and lo and behold, it's restriped and it looks great.
Good.
So they have 4 accessible parking spots. 2 are standalone signs and 2 are on the building. But the pavement has the wheelchair logo and everything is up to code. It's not ideal, but it is according to the regulations. So good for them for restriping it and making it look nice.
Great.
So I'm happy about that. Preparation for the annual report. Carol and I will be working on that. It's due in mid-December, I think. Basically what we do is we go through the minutes from the past year. Well, it's July to June, and just highlight some of our activities. We'll have a chance to send it out to you for feedback before it's submitted to the town. But while I have your attention now, is there anything in particular that you think we need to highlight that might not show up in the minutes, or?
Well, the grant funding should definitely show up in the minutes. So obviously that's definitely one that that we should highlight. That's always a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, as I said, Carol and I will be working on it probably in the next month so that we could present it at the November meeting, so it can be submitted in December. And after you've read what we've written, if anything jumps out at you, please don't hesitate to let us, we'll send it out before the meeting so that you'll have a chance to look at it ahead of time, and then we'll get that ready, and then it'll be part of the town report. Oh, so in terms of members, so since we're losing Babs, we were up to 9 and now we're back down to 8 again. So we're still looking for another member. The other 2 candidates that we had before have dropped out.
Oh, that's too, bad.
So, you know, we need to brainstorm again or think about people, how we might find another member to join us.
There were 2 people that I know that expressed interest in the last year, a neighbor and another woman. I believe we screened both of them. Sarah DeSalt was one of them. Did we ever talk to her?
Sarah, who?
DeSalt, I think I don't think that's how you pronounce
There
her
was a
last name.
Sarah.
Nachasik,
Yeah.
she's interested, and there was also a Sarah DeSalt, who's my neighbor.
I don't remember hearing from the second Sarah.
Yeah, I will reach out to her. She was in tax season and she couldn't deal with it at that point, but maybe this is a better
Okay.
time for her to think about it. She has a daughter that has a disability.
Great.
And I know the other Sarah has some hearing impairment situations, so that's interesting if Babs is leaving us.
Yeah. And Pam Fernandez decided not to pursue becoming a member. Someone else that you had
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
talked to.
too bad. Okay.
Well,
I'll text both of them and
keep
see.
it
if
in
they're-
mind.
Yeah, that's all I have for a pipeline, but I got 2, so I'll ask.
Yes. Good for you. That's all I have. Tatiana, you're up.
Okay, so a couple of things, just I want to give you an update on Muncie. Last month, someone said that perhaps they had their plans on hold. It does appear to be on hold, not for anything that the town has done. They got their special permit through the planning board, but they have not moved forward with construction or with trying to do any changes to the site. I asked about why, and we don't really have a reason for that other than maybe they're rethinking their purpose and the cost. So it is on hold, but because of the developer, it's not something that we're doing. So it's unfortunate, because I was saying we've been gathering all of these suggestions for accessible trail, and I guess now we don't know if it's actually going to happen. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but sounds like for now at least the Massey Four side is not moving forward.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I do not have an update on the playground initiative. The director of Park and Rec has been I've been out, she's been out, we've just been crossing paths, so I haven't been able to get an update on that, on where that's at. I was also asked to bring the balance of our handicap parking grant fund, and there's no one here from the school department, correct? Just
No.
want okay, I just want someone to confirm they got the last grant award, but as of today, our balance is $7,338.21.
Say the number again.
$7,338.21. And that's again, it's fees that we collected from parking at accessible parkings, or illegal parking at accessible parkings, in which people get fined. And so the revenue from the collection of those fees goes into a fund that then the Commission on Disability puts out as a grant to promote activities that support or advance the interest of people with disabilities in the community of Needham. So as you all know, we have awarded some grants in the past, and again, I just wanted someone from the school department to confirm, but that did get processed through the select board and our accounting department. And that was the most recent one. So, I don't have anything else.
Tatiana, it's not on the agenda and it is occurring to me right now. I'm not sure where we left off on it, but we talked about that autism welcoming program. And I think that went to you for kind of asking around about possibly seeing if we might be able to promote that in some way, or at least make local businesses aware of the program, and that possibly there could be funding if a business couldn't afford it that wanted to do it.
Yeah, so I did reach out to Penelope Anderson, who's the Operations and Outreach Specialist in Ultimate Alliance, just because their website didn't provide a lot of information on the cost of the training. So it said that it was like $500 for the training, but it didn't say like, is that per person or for for business. And so she included more information that I thought I had forwarded this, but I'm happy to forward. And it's basically
Good luck with your meeting. Thank you.
they do provide training to businesses, like you had mentioned, Maureen.
No.
And I guess the cost is per business, and the business can have as many. Let me just mute her real quick. And the business can have as many employees participate in the training. I had sent this to Amy Helson just to make sure, just to have it promoted within the community. And I'm sorry, I thought we talked about this. Does anyone remember this? But anyways, she had asked me to ask a couple of things. We wanted to make sure that if the Commission on Disabilities was offering to pay for the $500 for the grant to have a business participate in this initiative, she wanted to know before she put it out if there were any stipulations about how the business was supposed to spend the money. So did the commission wanted to put any restrictions? Was it basically a question of whether we wanted to award the $500 to the business for participating and they could use it however they wanted? Or do we want to just pay directly for the training?
To the Autism Alliance for, so not, in their name, so to speak. So if it was
Right,
Cook,
right.
it would be, okay. I don't remember talking about this. If I missed it,
I don't either.
I
I
apologize.
know-
I thought I had provided an update. I apologize. But yeah,
Okay.
so yes, so they wanted to find out whether again the commission was interested in funding the training directly to Autism Alliance, or just awarding the $500 to the local vendor for participating in the program.
okay.
You have, which is, it's really the same, but before we put it out to local businesses, we just wanted to determine which way to go.
The process and
So
okay.
I
Should we
would
put it
feel
on the
more
agenda for
comfortable
next
if-
month and think about it, or have more? Because I know it's not on this month's agenda, but I did think about it as you were giving your update, Tatiana.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Well, I would feel more comfortable giving the money directly to the provider of the service.
Me too.
But I think that means that we need to find someone who's willing to do it. I think in order to get the ball rolling, don't we have to find a business. We're gonna have to reach out to them.
So again, at that time, my director my economic development manager was willing to put out the word, but she was asking about all this. Like, I want to know what I'm offering, like if we're gonna say, she's like, what's the type commitment? What is the $500 paid for? So I had to go back to Autism Alliance and get that information before we could move it through. And then when I said, okay, well, the $500 is for the business and all of that, then she came back with, well, what stipulations is the commission putting around the award money? So basically her point, which is valid, is if we're going to put it out to the community, to the local businesses, she wants to be able to have all the information listed so that they know what they're getting into. So I guess if we want to move that forward in the next month, maybe we should vote now on how we want to present it to the businesses, you know? Is it $500 for them for participating, or is it a payment directly to Autism Alliance from the grant funding?
I think,
When we,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, I think when we originally discussed it, we had thought that we would pay for the business to participate if they wanted to. That's how I recall.
Yeah, I would think the advertisement should say the commission is willing to pay the fee for a company business to participate in this program. So if you're interested, let us know and we will pay the fee. And then, you know, we'll advertise the heck out of this great thing that you're doing. And maybe other businesses will follow suit.
Okay, let me make some notes about that. So we want to promote it that we will pay for the training for a business. How many
Yes.
businesses are we willing to award?
Well, it's $500 each, right?
Yeah, let's
So-
start with one and see how it goes, I think.
Okay.
We call it a pilot program.
What'd you say?
We could call it a pilot program.
Yeah,
That we're aware, we've been made aware of this. We'd like to pilot it. We're hopeful that a local business would be willing or enthusiastic about participating, and we could provide the funding, and then would like to hear back about their thoughts, and maybe then having the wider community participate if there's interest.
Babs,
Something
you're
like
on
that.
mute.
Oh, you're muted. Hold on.
About that. I was thinking maybe like hairdressers, you know, the beauty salons, because they might benefit from this in learning how to deal with someone who's on the spectrum, because they might be a little bit, because of the sensory issues, they would do well to benefit from this training. I think maybe you could reach out to certain stores, not just any store, any retail, but like hairdressers, one.
Restaurants for sure.
What, nail salons, maybe another
Yeah.
one, you know, that sort of thing.
How would this notice go out, Tatiana?
So I believe that we have a new one now, but our economic development manager has a serve list of businesses that have signed up to receive updates from the town, and that will be the way to communicate it. That's why I had initially thought about our former economic development manager as a mechanism to get the word out to businesses in a more direct manner, like coming from the town.
Okay. So we need this presented in a form that we can vote on, correct?
Yeah, so I think we need to make a motion to for the commission to vote on offering local businesses to cover the cost of a training session with autism awareness. You might need to vote again once a request is made, but I think what we're voting on right now is that the commission will pay directly to Autism Alliance rather than the business that takes the training.
Correct.
Mhm.
And we're giving authority to this person in town to advertise that this is available.
Yeah, I think, I mean, she was definitely willing to, she just wanted more information from us about how we wanted to structure it. So can someone make
Okay. I make a motion for NCOD to offer or announce the availability of a grant for local business to have training by the Autism Alliance of Metro West to provide training for its employees and to have the training fee covered by us via a grant. That was a long motion.
Second,
Yeah,
I
second,
second it.
Lynn has second.
Yes.
all
So
in
I-
favor? Well, I'm sorry, in favor, I am in favor, Babs,
I am in favor.
Karen, you're about to raise your hand. Did you have
Yeah.
a
No, no, I'm in favor. That was my raising my hand.
Lynn,
I'm in favor.
Maureen,
I'm in favor.
Alexa,
Yes, I'm in favor.
Tatiana?
I vote yes.
Okay. Excellent. I see that Ross Donald has joined us. Welcome.
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
thank you very much.
um, moving on, you'll have a chance at the end, Ross, if you want to bring anything, but for now, we're going to continue with our agenda.
Okay, please do. Thank you.
Other business, Charles River Center, Alexa.
So in September, I participated in the Charles River Center 5K. I actually saw Maureen there while we were there. And at the end of it, they have like an area where participants who either, walk the mile or ran the 5K kind of gather and mingle and network. And there's an opportunity. There's several sort of local businesses and I guess vendors, restaurants that had sort of tents set up there. And I'm just wondering if it seemed like a good opportunity for the NCOD to have a presence there. Because it seemed like there were quite a few community members that, would benefit just from knowing about the NCOD. So it seemed like we could potentially either maybe volunteer to help sort of with their registration or whatever they need to put on the race, or we could have a table there, and offer something considered, or if we've ever done any work with the Charles River Community Center at all. But it also might be a good way to find potential committee members.
Is this an annual event?
It is. I mean, I know it wouldn't be till next September, but I figure since we just completed it, we should talk about it.
I think that's a great idea.
Yes,
It's a really great
I
event.
do too.
It's a really good event. A lot of community members and a lot. It's
Where is it
feel-good
held?
event.
Where is it held?
It's in Needham. It's in the what's that street? Dwight Street. It's by the, I guess,
Yeah,
right
it's
where
right.
right where the building is.
It's North Hill, right where North Hill is. You see the
Okay.
big North Hill sign. They're right
Yeah.
next to it, essentially
Okay.
up on the hill, but very tucked away. But that's where their building is, and they're also building. That's where the Merit Center is, which is their main administration building, where some of their programs are run out of. And they also, Alexa, did you notice when we like kind of went to go down the hill off to the left, there's like a construction site.
Yeah.
Kind of, they're building. Thank God they're building some more housing for people.
Oh,
I think they're going to target that for people with autism. So, but it's going to, and perhaps some staff members. So it's going to be right up there as part of their kind of campus. So that's good.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
so even though this event isn't until next September, I'm sure they start planning for it probably even now. So is there someone that we need to let know that we would like to be involved? Do you know?
I've been on their committee helping with this in the past and other events because my son's he's gone to many of their programs over the years. Hillary Ryan is the person who helps run that. And Alexa, if you want to reach out, or I could give you her name and contact information if you want to reach out, or I can.
I'm happy to if you want to share
Okay.
it with me.
I'll forward that to you.
Would she be a good one to speak to about potential NCOD members as well?
It wouldn't hurt. She's been there a long time. She's very plugged in, so she might have what I think of is like family members or even staff that might be interested in doing something like this. So she's a long time Charles River employee, so I can see her being a good source of
I think it's worth
just knowing
mentioning
a lot of people.
to her.
Yeah, I'm happy to ask her if there's maybe even like a newsletter or something like that they send out to their network, and where they might want to mention that we have an opening. So I can ask her that too.
That'd be great.
Does anyone still receive Compass from the Council on Aging by chance? Has anyone seen that newsletter?
No,
I honestly don't know if they're
They're
still.
in the process of labeling it. An email went out asking for volunteers to help label it,
Oh, okay, so maybe they're not.
the addresses.
They
that-
they do theirs very far in advance, and I think they do 2 months at a time, right, Babs? Is that right?
I
Is it
think
like
so.
September, October issue, which they start doing in like July for like September? It's way in advance.
So we're
So
too late for it, is what you're saying.
yeah, but we could do it. Is that like we could still do it if we need it, in another month. We could see how we do, and if we still think we need more
Advertisement.
outreach, then yeah, but it's a big lead time on that.
Hello, good evening.
yes,
I just want to give, I'm sorry.
go
Just-
ahead.
Just updating you that the program director, Aisha, at present, she is at Maine. Her father is not keeping well, but Katie is also involved in programming. So if you reach, well, we have a Mr. Bob over there who will pursue this matter. So they are, but they can always add in their TV slide. They
Oh,
have a TV, Maureen, and they can always add over there. So it will continue. And also they can add in a highlights, everyday highlights. So that will give, and they will monthly, they can also give like after 15 days, they will again put it in a highlights as a reminder. So that way it will be ongoing with the seniors. And they have a special sheet also, like on a desk when you enter, and the desk person, they print out and put it as a for the people to look at it. And that way it will be more also noticeable. And one more thing I want to add, that at senior center, many, I would not say totally disabled, but kind of some kind of a disability would like to also join in committees. Many are very, very, very intelligent. So if you can reach Maureen, and also put the flyer over there, looking for this. And best thing is to reach the Latanya Still, the executive director.
Yeah.
She will also find somebody very taking initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know what you mean, Kelvin. There's a screen when you walk in to the lobby, and they have announcements on it and updates. So I guess if we gave a quick blurb or something, or just even a line that would say, the Needham Commission on Disabilities is seeking, another member, and we could.
And the best thing is the gift shop. And outside of the gift shop, if you will see the table,
Mhm.
yeah, you can put the over there the description or requirements or interested, little bit of idea.
Thank
Because
you.
people think that it's a commission for the disability. Why should I sign up? But I always like to join and listen. Thank you
Okay.
for.
Yeah, those are some good
Right.
suggestions. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, moving on, the next item is grant proposal for the Intensive Learning Center at Williams. Maureen, you have something on that?
I did. I got back to Valerie Mayo. She's now working with the Needham Public Schools in the Fine and Performing Arts Department. And in the past, she's a dance instructor. In addition to now this new job, she's got an NPS. She'd gotten a call from Erin Vaccaro, the coordinator of special education at Sunita Williams School, about the possibility of offering a dance class to the students in the Intensive Learning Center, which is comprised of students in grades K to 5 with 3 classrooms. They serve 25 students. Val had taught a program previously, which had been funded by the Needham Education Foundation, which helped the students not only enjoyed because it was very much targeted to that population and adapted for that for those students, but helped them get very much mentally organized. And Erin was hoping that Val might be able to offer that again for somebody that works for her that would do the class. And we went back and forth, and I sent this to Jeannie and Carol just to see, so she didn't go to the trouble of applying if this was something that there was no way ever going to get funding. So both Jeannie and Carol thought it had merit and that they would kind of say, yes, but kind of have to focus on, the real benefits to the students and what they get out of it and all that kind of stuff, and to focus on that. Val, in the meantime, has decided to instead try to reach out to the Mass Cultural Council for funding for this. So she said she felt like that was more directly tied into their the grant criteria that they put forth. So she said she was going to put the application in there. If that would not be funded, she would then try to come back to us. But that was what she decided to do. So for right now, we're not going to have an application from her.
They get full funding from this other group? Because they could always come to us for a supplement if they don't get everything.
I can let her know that. I mean, Mass Cultural Council, I'm not sure. I think they're pretty good sized grants, like 5,000 and up. So maybe that would allow her to do perhaps a series, like a longer series that would last throughout the school year. I don't know, but I will let her know that Jeannie, that she can consider that if the funding that she would get from MCC is not going to, cover or make them able to offer what they want to offer.
Tatiana, are you in agreement that this sounds like a grant that would qualify?
I would say so
Program that
because
would qualify?
it's so I think the biggest thing for us is always that it's not an individual that's being benefited, but
Right.
but the community. And I'm sorry, I did want to ask you, Maureen, what is the name of the class the students are in? It's called Intensive.
The Intensive Learning Center.
Thank you.
That's the same group for which we've purchased equipment for the classrooms, correct?
It used to be called the Early Learning Center.
Oh,
And
I
they
see. Okay, okay.
Yep, but they now just across the system, they call them intensive learning centers. So
Okay.
no matter what grade level, that's kind of what they have renamed them. And it's all students with varying levels of disabilities.
Okay, great.
Mostly.
So I definitely think if we, in the past, if we have approved supplies for that group, then definitely a service will be in this along the same line of applicability.
Okay.
Great.
I
But
can get back to Val if everyone's in agreement with what Jeannie was mentioning about supplementing the MCC grant if they get that grant, and certainly if they don't, to come back to us, but even to consider our grant as perhaps a supplement to enhance the grant and maybe perhaps make it a longer program for the students. I guess it was very well received.
and does she know where to find our application on the website?
Yes, I do. She knows me personally just from, we have kids the same age and all that kind of stuff. So our paths have crossed and we were on the NEF board together. So yes, I did send her a link to it. So she knew what kind of information she'd have to
She
provide.
probably has to wait for that other grant to kick in to determine her financial needs, right? For what she's going to ask the commission.
Right, what they award her. Hopefully that they do award her, and if they do, at what level.
Okay. Moving on to other updates, we do not have anyone from the school department, and no one contacted me with any concerns, so we'll have to put that off till next month. Similarly, for accessible parking, we don't have Felix or Officer Kelly. I'm not aware of any concerns that have come up. Is anyone else?
Did anybody see the cute picture of Officer Kelly walking a little kindergartner into school? That was so
Yeah.
sweet.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was sweet.
She's clearly loved in town, and that's really wonderful.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We are still looking for someone to serve as our representative to the diversity initiative. I know.
Interested in learning more about that. I've gotten some of the emails from the organization, and I saw that they're having some event on November 5th, I think it is.
Yes, that's their big event of the year. It's happening in early November, and they have guest speakers. I've only attended once, so I don't know a lot about it. Carol is much more familiar with it, but they have a panel of speakers that have talks throughout the day. There are some tables set up, and I think it's an opportunity for us to put out some pamphlets. But they do a nice program each year with a theme, and I do not know what the theme is this year.
I saw it's belonging, and they said they want to give people this particular time a chance to understand how they can talk about things with each other, especially all the conflict going on in the world.
Okay. So what we're looking for, they have that big event, but they also have other things throughout the year. There's usually a book club discussion. So we're just looking for someone to attend their meetings, and I'm not even sure if they're monthly or less frequently than that, to keep us informed of what they're working on and make sure that we can present our point of view in terms of people with disabilities.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Excellent. Wonderful. Okay. I'm going to suggest you talk with Carol.
Okay.
She's out of town right now because she's been a long time representative on that group, with that group, so she can tell you more about it and what has to happen next. But that's terrific.
Okay. Yeah, I'll touch base with her. She's back, I guess, next week.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And then the local emergency planning committee met earlier this week or last week.
They did. Yep. They just met yesterday morning. And the primary the focus of it was all about the person that was in charge or was very involved with the whole Columbia gas, all the fires and explosions 5 years ago up in Lawrence, North Andover and Andover. So they went into great detail about housing and all the things they had to do to evacuate people. And a lot of it's not, they obviously had options for people of all different abilities. There was hotels, and then there were trailers, and then there was congregate care and like school gyms and things like that, because they had so many people that they had to house. And one of the interesting things was they sent out an alert, obviously, when people had to evacuate and know what was going on. And they sent it out in English. And Lawrence is over 50% Spanish speaking. So that was a kind of faux pas that they had to go back and correct. And they sent it out in Spanish. And something was wrong with the national, whatever it's called, the wireless call system, that didn't transpose some of the letters or something in Spanish. It was somehow garbled. So they had to then go back again and get that fixed. And now I guess that alerted them to the fact that there was a problem with their system. So they were able to get that message out finally to the Spanish speaking population and then have that corrected nationally. So that was good for them, but it sounded like it was just truly a disaster. And as he said, it was a disaster within a disaster because they scrambled to find housing, and the trailers were awful, and they got snow and everything bad that could happen. Trailers are meant for, he said, those are campers. Those are not real trailers, and those are for summertime weather, not for snow. And they got snow. And while it happened in September, and by December, mid December is when everybody was able to go back to their homes. So it was a pretty a really intense experience for everybody that was involved. The people that were living there, people that were trying to coordinate the efforts. It was really hard. And it's been 5 years. So that's kind of hard to believe. I felt like it was a year or two ago, but it's been 5 years.
Wow.
So that's pretty much, that was the main focus of the sole focus really of that meeting.
Okay, thank you for that update. Now we move on to new business. Ross, or first, any members have any new business they want to bring up? And
I
this
just
would be
wanted to mention
Yes.
something. I sent an email, but in case everyone didn't get it, the town common is being dedicated on October 28th. I believe it's at 10 a.m. I'm not quite sure. But if anyone would like to participate, they're gonna have a nice little ceremony. And they want the community to attend because we're very proud of finally being done with the town common. It's
Okay.
10 a.m. Sorry, my email said 1 a.m. because I missed a 0, but it is 10 a.m. Rain or shine.
Ross?
Yes, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, thank you. I wanted to drop by and just take this opportunity. Thank you for acknowledging me. I'm a resident of public housing here, and Denise Scarlett has been very supportive. I know Maureen has joined the committee here, and I've appeared a couple of times just with some issues, and I've gotten some help as far as getting some direction on what resources might be available to come up with better design. My feeling is that if we can design or make designs, property and improvements and so forth that are beneficial for infants and the elderly, that it'll be helpful for everybody too at the same time. Sort of a universal design approach, I think. But so I'd like to. We are going to be forming a tenants organization in the interests of, I don't know, long-term stability. We've had a lot of changeovers in executive directors and staff, and we just realized that we're the ones that are going to be around the longest, and we're going to have to sustain an interest so that there's not a lot of turnover and changes in rules and regulations that just serve to upset people. So we hope to work with Springwell and the Housing Authority, and they've been very helpful so far in helping us get the tenant organization up and running. We're going to have elections sometime in the coming month, and hope to participate in a lot of the redevelopment and design work, and in terms of resident review boards and things like that. So, thank you.
Do you have any particular concerns you wanted to bring up to the commission?
Just that eventually, well, our first concern by consensus here is that we've got a lot of concerns. And when I talk with people, they want specific things. They want the potholes fixed. They want the plumbing taken care of. But we're trying to take a step back and be a little bit more strategic and look at it in terms of what's really going to be sustainable is not just one little project or solving a task. It's changing the ethic. In some ways, well, we don't want to talk about the negativity, but we think we need to focus on the mission. The mission, what is the Housing Authority to do? And if we're going to talk about other opportunities through Affordable Housing Trust Fund, when I was in Boston, I was there for 30 years, and I spent a lot of time working with a community development corporation, slightly different organization, but it's going to have people are talking about new opportunities, new approaches. And I think it won't happen through the housing authority exclusively. There's going to be other types of organizations, but I think the housing authority itself, instead of approaching it like we want to have minimal housing, we want to just do what we need to do. There's no reason why we can't have the best housing. The cluster housing on Linden Street, I think, is an architectural, it has significance. It was built at the same time as the Pollard School, award-winning. I think it was Architects Collaborative or some group like that. That was the affordable housing at the time. Before we tear it all down, it'd be nice to do a little bit of a historical study, as well as the housing authority itself. You know, when the housing was first started, with the veterans housing, the whole town was on the same page. Really, it was really kind of a marvelous thing. But I may have touched on too much there. But I think the history is part of it. The success of the housing authority, what its mission is, and using it as an opportunity for to demonstrate the best kind of housing. What the residents want is maintenance, first of all. But don't get me started.
Are there any access issues that we need to be made aware of?
Yes, and it's on an ongoing basis. That's where a resident review board or advisory board might come in. They put in a lot of raised beds, for instance. There's really no consideration. I worked for Home Depot as a kitchen designer for 5 years, and we were nothing if we were not all about ratios and distances and passageways. And I was lucky enough to work on a couple of accessible, important kitchen and bathroom projects. And there are rules and regulations. They're all there for a reason. And whenever you get sort of, I don't know, impulsive, irrational groups together, they can make just wrong decisions that are unsafe, unhealthy, and so forth. And we just need to have a little bit more stringent organization where they go through, where they're putting things back online that haven't been inspected, units that have been taken down because of black mold. And it really needs to be inspected before it goes back in play, just as a routine, as something that you want to do.
I just want to make a clarification, just in case this isn't clear, but the town of Needham has no authority over the Needham Housing Authority. And this appears to be a Needham Housing Authority concern.
Well, actually, that's not quite true. You could say the same thing about the fire department, DPW.
We do
They have
have,
no authority over the.
jurisdiction over the fire department and DPW, but the
Yeah, and
Needham
they also
Housing
have
Authority is a
some.
separate
Yes,
entity.
yeah, I don't want to quibble with you about the fine points, but they also have some authority and responsibility in relation to the housing authority too. And I don't think they're keeping up with the rules and regulations in that regard. But it's up to us to make the case, you know, that they should consider annually the appointment of a resident to the board of commissioners. And they've decided to not do that. Now they could waive that, but
You made this
that-
request to the Needham Housing Authority?
pardon me?
Have you made this request to the Needham
Oh,
Housing?
yeah. Oh, I've been going to every housing authority meeting for the past, I'd say 8 years or something, special, regular, and strategic planning meetings and so on. Yeah, it's an issue, and they want to. What the last time the matter came up, the select board decided to waive that requirement to do that at the request of the housing authority. Everybody thought that was the best idea, and that's what they did. But the law was written in, I think, at least 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
Mhm.
And the town meeting in Needham decided to set up its way of lining up things. So they obviated the need or requirement to consider the appointment. So lately it's come to my attention that if rules and regulations regarding the housing authority are altered in the absence of a local tenant organization, an individual has a right to complain about that, saying it was done without my consultation or the consultation and, concurrence of the local tenant organization. But that's all technical. It's really, do they want to have self-government on the part? They want tenants to participate in managing the place. We've been calling for maintenance for years. I've been here 13 years, and we're beginning to get some movement. So yes, the answer is yes. I have brought all these matters to the board, and we're getting somewhere. So that's all good news.
Okay.
Well, yeah, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. So,
Does anyone else have any issues they want to bring up?
I'm just curious, Tatiana, if this has to do with like health concerns that impact people living in low income housing, do we have any push to be able to say, like, it seems like it would make sense to have tenants on a board or involved in the management, or we really don't have any way to
I think
influence?
we could advocate for it. We just have no jurisdiction over the Needham Housing Authority because they're a separate and completely independent
Mhm.
organization than the town. So we could certainly advocate for it if there were, people with disabilities that have
Mhm.
that are not having their needs met. I mean, we've done that before where we had, I remember there was a visually impaired person that came forward.
That's, I was thinking, yes,
Yes, from the
I
housing
remember that.
authority.
Yeah.
Or someone who was in the housing authority and didn't have proper access to their, to their unit. We've advocated in the past because as far as this commission can take any sort of action with the Housing Authority. We cannot dictate
Yes.
who they have on the board or who they appoint to their board. Neither can the town.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Ross, maybe if you have any issues that specifically align with the needs of disabled residents in Needham living in the housing authority, then you bring those to our attention and we can advocate on those issues for you.
Yeah, I think this commission has done everything that they've been able to do. I've been here at least 2 times, maybe 3, with slides and just I was lost in the woods and was given some good guidance and direction. And I think one thing that I've tried to think is ways to be strategic where we can cooperate on things that might be sort of not directly connected to any one of us. But for instance, what John Bullion said something interesting. He said, we have an information problem, but it's a structural problem. And I'm thinking, well, there needs to be some kind of information clearinghouse where when somebody needs or wants or information or feels that there's a gap there or some lack of clarity, that they can put it out to a network of people. Some people are so incredibly talented or skilled at getting to information statistically, rules and regulations and so on. And if there's a question, for instance, that comes up before the planning board about why are we going this way? How long we've been thinking in terms of greater density always and other issues. And there are answers to those questions, but only if they're put out to a bunch of people that have, maybe a lot of experience. They've heard these questions before at town meeting and so on. And I think that's the way to go. And I have to work with, there's been a tremendous opportunity presented in reported in Denise Garlick's report from the legislature, I guess, or legislative report, she was calling it when she spoke about it at the select board meeting. And it's specifically part of the thing that she mentioned was work in upgrading the community center. And one of the areas where people look to upgrade things is in terms of technology. So there may be some opportunities to present, area-wide Wi-Fi for, community housing and multifamily housing, things like that.
So I'm gonna suggest, Ross, that if you want to have like an agenda item put onto the commission or for something for the Commission on Disabilities
Yes.
to consider, that you email me or the chair so we can have you on the agenda. as is. We can't
Mhm.
really have discussion on items that are not previously published on. an
Oh, I
agenda.
understand. No,
Okay.
and you're so organized to do it just that way. We've been through this before, and I thank you very much. I'll follow up.
Thank you.
Okay. In terms of planning for our next meeting, we hope that we will have Stephanie Gray with us from Congressman Jake Auchincloss's office. She was hoping to come this month. It's been put off until November. And I'm hoping that that will play out. Any other items we want to be sure and put on the November agenda?
I'd like to follow up on the autism welcoming program, just where we're at with that, just to sort of keep it on the radar for us and see where that is as of next month.
Yes, I agree. Okay. I think we are finished for this evening. Thank you, everyone, for your time and your thoughts. And we will begin our next meeting with a brief send off to our beloved Babs.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Okay, see you next month.
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Oh,
Bye, everybody.